Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here with Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. And coming up tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, we'll be talking about severe weather issues, warmer temperatures, and the long range, which means a peek into the Memorial Day holiday weekend. That's next weekend. So that's all tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, and that is at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a quiet start to our Sunday as we take a look at watches and warnings across the country. Really not much of anything going on from coast to coast, but we are going to see some rough weather later today in parts of the Central Plains, and we'll get to that in a moment. In the meantime, in the Northeast, we still have variable conditions with regards to clouds over New England. However, we should see those clouds break up as we go through the day and go to let's call it cloudy to partly sunny skies from eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. We're already seeing those clouds break up there. Thunderstorms off the North Carolina coast. We've got some thunderstorms this morning moving across the central plains from Nebraska down to Kansas. And this is where today's severe weather focus is. And the rest of the country is just still in mid-May mode. As far as the radar is concerned, it's quiet up and down the eastern seaboard, other than a few showers in interior South Carolina, and then off the southeast coast, and a couple of showers running across central Florida. You can see a busier radar this morning in Nebraska and parts of Kansas, with the odd severe thunderstorm warning here and there. And then you get into some plain rain across the Dakotas and back over into Montana. The Storm Prediction Center today has a moderate risk of severe weather in south central Kansas, and a slight risk that extends as far north as central South Dakota and as far northeast as southeastern Iowa. We also have marginal to slight risk from a small portion of South Carolina near the Georgia state line all the way down the Florida Peninsula, with a slight risk along the east central and the southeast coast of Florida today. Tornado risks are 2 to 5%. I would think with the moderate risk, you might have seen a higher tornado risk, but for now, the emphasis seems to be more on hail and wind rather than tornadoes there, and a small area of 2% in eastern Florida. Now, for tomorrow, we have a slight risk in parts of southeast Nebraska, northeast Kansas, southwest Iowa, northwest Missouri, marginal risk that heads over into the Great Lakes. And there's a very broad 2% tornado risk area there. This could be an interesting day from the standpoint of severe weather on Tuesday into Wednesday, where the Storm Prediction Center already has an enhanced risk for the Mississippi, the middle and upper Mississippi River Valley, as well as the Missouri River Valley, the large area of slight risk that goes from Oklahoma all the way up into the northern lakes. And I think this is also going to come with a significant tornado risk. And in the long range, we have severe weather risk that's shifting eastward on Thursday, on day 4, from Ohio southwestward down into northeast and north central Texas. And on day 5, Oklahoma, Arkansas, northeast Texas, and northwest Louisiana. I always say when SPC puts things in the long range, it's a pretty good idea to pay attention. Rainfall over the next 7 days, not a whole lot in the east. We're looking at half-inch plus amounts in northern Maine, pockets of a half-inch plus in the Carolinas and down into Georgia. But the rest of the East Coast looks like anywhere between a tenth to a quarter of an inch of rainfall this week. So we're seeing things on the dry side. Big rains in the upper Mississippi Valley and western Great Lakes, where we're talking about several inches or more, especially in parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin. Inch and a half amounts from northeast Texas to eastern Oklahoma, across into Arkansas, southeast Missouri, and then southern portions of Illinois, Indiana, western Kentucky, and western Tennessee. Heavy precip up in the northern Rockies, 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half there, and 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a half in the Pacific Northwest. So this week, it's really about the reestablishment of the trough in the western part of the United States. That transition has been occurring over this weekend. And you'll notice as we move through next week, the jet stream takes a dip there in the Rockies, and we have a strong short wave that is swinging eastward out of the Rockies and up into the Plain States for Monday night and for Tuesday. And for Tuesday, you can see this strengthening short wave in southern Minnesota, and that would be this system here. And this is why we have that large area of severe weather and already seeing enhanced risk by the Storm Prediction Center. The trough is going to stay to the west, which means the east is going to be under a southwest flow into Thursday. It's by then we get a cold front to move on through, and then a bit of a ridge that builds in for Friday and for the Memorial Day holiday weekend. We'll see if it holds. Usually, the Memorial Day holiday weekend in the Northeast, it's one of those weekends where you're going to lose probably one day to rain. Sometimes you lose more than one day, but let's see if we can keep it down to a minimum here. Let's look at how the surface looks for this week. And of course, today we've got no weather issues. Developing sunshine, temperatures in the 70s inland, 60s along the coast, because there still will be a bit more of a bit of an onshore wind. We'll see that severe weather develop tonight in parts of Kansas and up into Nebraska, shifting eastward tomorrow as a low starts to develop. And here in the east, it's a southwest flow, and we're going to start seeing temperatures rise up into the 80s this week. Big severe weather day possible on Tuesday for the upper Midwest and the Mississippi River Valley as a deepening low runs up to the northeast. But in the eastern U.S., it's still going to be nice and it's going to be warm. That warm weather continues. Weather front approaches on Thursday with maybe some showers and a possible thunderstorm. And then we go to drier air for Friday. And right now it looks like Saturday will be a good day and Sunday will be a good day. And then a weather front approaches with maybe a chance for showers on or thunderstorms on Memorial Day. So that would be my early look as far as the holiday weekend is concerned. And here's just a profile of temperatures today in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states, where we're looking at 60s at the coast and 70s inland. For Monday, you start to see an expanding area of 80s from the Ohio Valley eastward. We'll be in the mid 70s to some warm spots inland, getting up close to 80 because we're still going to have a bit of an onshore flow on Monday, and then Tuesday more widespread 80s from New England all the way down to Virginia and all the way west into the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes. Same holds for Wednesday, and then Thursday with a cold front approaching, we'll still be hanging on to 80s along the coast, and we'll throw in, as we said, for eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England, the chance that there could be a thunderstorm or two. So enjoy your Sunday, and don't forget tonight the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. That will be at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Look at all the severe weather issues, warmer temperatures, and the prospects for the long range, which includes the Memorial Day holiday weekend. And that's again tonight at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a great day.